Ralston's FieldLab is a portable, handheld, laboratory-grade pressure reference device for use in the field or in the lab. Now in this video we'll show you how FieldLab can save you time when calibrating a gauge or other device under test while creating a digital record of that test. You'll have your FieldLab reference and your DUT connected to the same pressure supply. Of course, we recommend a Ralston pneumatic hand pump or our hydraulic hand pump or nitro pack for higher pressure devices. Now I'll demonstrate a calibration test of this 1/4% full-scale accuracy 30 psi analog gauge. Previously, we've used the FieldLab desktop software to create and load the calibration test mode with the appropriate number of test points and permissible error. And be sure to watch our test mode video to see how it's done. Now for this demonstration, we've created a 30 psi calibration test for this specific type of gauge. Now before we start our test, we'll zero the FieldLab by pressing the green 0 button until we see the confirmation message on screen. Next, we'll press the menu button on the FieldLab to choose the test mode that we created for this type of DUT. In this case, it's the 30 psi cal test. And keep in mind that any test mode you create can be shared across your FieldLabs or with others. So once you select your test mode, you'll see a preview of the number of test points that will be run and the permissible error we expect. Now I'll activate this test mode and start the test. I'm prompted on screen for the first test point, in this case 0 psi. As we can see, our first test point is 0, and with no pressure applied, our needle is right on the 0 hash mark. And since no pressure has been applied yet, the FieldLab also reads 0. So we'll press log, then accept. And the data point is logged. And the FieldLab moves on to prompt you for the next test point, in this case 6 psi. Now we'll apply pressure to achieve a reading of our cardinal point on the device under test. And then we'll precisely dial it in with the vernier so our needle falls exactly on 6 psi. And since it does fall on a major hash mark, it makes the setting much easier and more accurate. Now you may have noticed we're setting the DUT to the cardinal point and reading the actual pressure on the FieldLab, which is the reverse of a typical test. This provides greater accuracy since you're not guessing which hash mark the needle is closest to on analog gauges and then estimating hundredths or even tenths, which could mean the difference between a passed or failed DUT. So now we press log and you see a summary of the test point. Notice that both the reference and DUT readings are logged along with the computed deviation. We can also see that this point was outside the permissible error for this device. You can now accept this reading, or you can redo the test point. But if you're confident in the reading, then you can just press accept, and the actual value will be saved for that test point. We then do this up and down the test point scale, with each reading being saved at each test point. When you're finished with the test, you can immediately view the data set on screen. This gives you an easy visual verification of pass-fail points. And if the device has failed, you can make adjustments to the gauge, run the test again, and log the results. The beauty of it is no log sheets, no handwritten test points, no paperwork, and accurate results with 100% digital traceability. Later, you can connect FieldLab to a PC, download the data sets, and electronically share the files or export them for inclusion in calibration certificates. FieldLab gives you laboratory-grade results in the field with fast and reliable data logging. And best of all, it's from Ralston Instruments.